When Spanish civil servants got wind that someone was sweeping up the priceless treasure of a 20-year-old frigate from the ocean far, it triggered a real-life escapade full of naval pursuits and secret airlifts like something from a comic book adventure, and that is what it has now become. After one of those suit anti-sleuths convinced Spain's best-known graphic novelist that together they should tell the tale of the modern-day treasure hunt, in 1804, a British fleet opened fire on the Spanish ship Nuestra Señora de los Mercedes, causing the death of 250 people of the 300 on board and the loss of 500,000 silver and gold coins. That incident became known as Battle of Cape Santa Maria, and led to Spain declaring war on Britain. Within a year came the Battle of Trafalgar, and the defeat of the Spanish and French fleet. 2 centuries later, United States from Odyssey marine exploration announced it had made the largest discovery of underwater treasure in history, but would not reveal the name or location of the shipwreck. The Deep Ocean Exploration Company used robotic rovers to suck 70 tons of treasure from the seabed, before spiriting it away to Florida on a secret flight out of Gibraltar under the Spanish authorities' noses in 2007. With the coordinates that the Navy handed us, it has not taken us too long to find the site. Let's get going. Lower Triton. Triton descending to 200 meter.
850米 ,930 米 ,1010 时 ,1015
Seabed. There's nothing there. Turn 45 degrees east. A bit more to the left. Slow it. Wait. Stop, here it is. We have bought it. It would take 5 years for a team of Spanish civil servants to wrest back the treasure, which now sits in a museum in Cartagena, on the southeast coast. But the story of how they bought it back is itself quite a tale. Guillermo Corral, a career diplomat who was working in Spain's cultural ministry in 2007, felt his experience of the legal fight had potential as an adventure story, so he contacted graphic novelist Paco Roca Mr Roca, since parallels with classic comic book sagas, such as Tintin and Corto Maltese, and the showman wrote The Treasure of the Black Swan, in reference to the code name that Odyssey gave the shipwreck, before the Spanish authorities worked out that it was in reality the Mercedes. We have a boat we know nothing about, that may or may not be Spanish, and an immense treasure that has been outside Spain for weeks, almost certainly in the United States. And you are suggesting that we'll do exactly what, Alex? I was fascinated by the historical aspect. The attack on the Mercedes triggered war between the British and Spaniards and the entry into Spain of Napoleon's army. Mr. Roca told the BBC in an interview, most shipwrecks tend to be spread over large areas, but the Mercedes exploded in spectacular fashion when a British cannonball pierced the ship's gunpowder magazine, causing the ship to sink very quickly. That meant its treasure of Spanish escudos and pieces of it reached the seabed in one very specific spot. Mr. Roca claims he did not intend to create a story of comic book goodies versus baddies, but he admits that he and Mr. Corral, critical of the company's manner of extracting the treasure, using a kind of giant vacuum cleaner, and destroying the wreck site, which is also a marine cemetery. That's the difference between a real archaeologist and a treasure hunter. One is moved by the history, the other the economic aspect, he said. In real life, the dispute went to a court in Tampa, an appeal in Florida, and eventually all the way to the United States Supreme Court. But the graphic novel does not take place in a courtroom. They are coming. I cannot believe it. We have bought it. We have bought it. The book depicts a cloak-and-dagger pursuit of information toward out where and how Odyssey was sweeping the ocean for treasure. But in the fictionalized version, the exploration company is cloud-infected. Other details are changed too. In the comic book, the ship's GPS is switched off to confuse Spanish authorities, who later use a stolen copy of Gibraltar Airport manifests to work out where the company is flying planes to and from. So where does the truth end and fiction take over? That's for each reader to decide for themselves, says his co-writer, Guillermo Corral. What I can say is this: everything is the truth. And if it is not, well, it could have been. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group al-Shabab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28. It said in a statement, "These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants." Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 40 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants. Mr. Trump gave the United States military greater authority in March 2017 to attack militants in Somalia. Traditionally, United States presidents have been wary of intervening in Somalia since ATN Special Forces soldiers died fighting militias in the capital Mogadishu in 1993, a battle dramatized in the film Black Hawk Down. No civilians were killed in the latest airstrikes, which were carried out in coordination with the Somali government, the United States military said. Alongside our Somali and international partners, we are committed to preventing al-Shabab from taking advantage of safe havens from which they can build capacity and attack the people of Somalia, the United States Africa Command said. Al-Shabab, which is linked to al-Qaeda, has not yet commented on the latest strikes. Somalia-based security think tank the Higher Institute said in a report published in November that al-Shabab had been forced to change tactics following the upsurge in airstrikes. The institute said the group was now conducting fewer mass attacks on military bases, but attacks on government offices and businesses which refused to pay its taxes had increased markedly. The United States State Department, in its most recent report on terrorism, described Somalia as a terrorist safe haven, and said al-Shabab remained a threat. Despite suffering setbacks, the group retained control over large parts of the country, and the ability to carry out high-profile attacks using suicide bombers, explosive devices, mortars, and small arms. The report added, a poacher has been ordered to watch the Disney film Bambi repeatedly after he was convicted of illegally killing hundreds of deer. Missouri hunter David Barry, Jr., must view the film at least once a month during his year-long sentence. He was arrested in August along with 2 family members for killing the deer, taking their heads and leaving their bodies to rot. Prosecutors said it is reportedly one of the biggest poaching cases in Missouri history. On top of the jail sentence for the illegal deer hunting, Judge Robert George ordered Barry Jr. to view the Walt Disney movie Bambi, with the first viewing being on or before December 23rd.
2018
And at least one such viewing each month thereafter, during his spell in prison. The 1942 cartoon about woodland creatures shows a hunt to kill the mother of eponymous deer character Bambi. A months-long investigation, spanning several states, led to the arrest of Barry Jr., his father David Barry, Sr., and his brother Kyle Barry, according to a local newspaper, the Springfield News-Leader. While the total number of deer taken illegally is unknown, Lawrence County's conservation agent Tandy Barnes said it could be several hundred. Barry Jr. received a year-long sentence in Lawrence County Prison after pleading guilty to illegally taking wildlife.